I wanted to go to Richard and Tim Buck. I think they want to make an announcement about the auction. And we have to start thinking about the auction because it will be in May. And so it's our next event. Tim has to get his notes out. But I can't come over to this table. Bridget, want to stand up? Bridget has filled out her application and turned it in today. Welcome back. I asked her if she wants to say anything. Sit no time. We're happy to have Bridget back.
So I'm going to be share with a group of people with the auction this year, and the dates are going to be preliminary May 16th through the 22nd, and our next meeting is going to be the 3rd of March. And right now the goal is 25,000. But the lowest of the most ever was 30, and people are coming out of the pandemic. If we can get some great items, I think we have a shot to exceed that number. So we'll be looking for some help. We definitely need items, and please think about some great items that people could donate. So that'd be great.
Thank you, Tim. Let's give Tim a round of applause for their kicking. Just an important part, and as we moved our fundraising to 2 events, to moving the Taste of Lakeville in August and the auction in May, we split that up, and it worked so well last year that we're going to continue doing that. So we have to start thinking about those items, and my hope is that everybody would be involved in some way. And as I see Richard's waving at me over here, I think he wants to talk as well.
Quick reminder that for everybody to please think about donating something for auction. It is a club requirement and a pitch to start thinking about things that you could join with other members and go in on an item, and we'll have a good auction.
Yes, it is a group effort, and it's from getting everyone together. Also today, I have if I could have Mike Cooper come up here, come on up, Mike, and Mike Baldwin come up here as well. Okay. We had the Paul Harris dinner on January 20th. And the Paul Harris Foundation is our giving foundation, and we recognize those who have given over the years with special awards. And Mike Cooper is Paul Harris Fellow +4, and I'm going to present this to him for that at this time. There's so many things that Paul Harris Foundation does over the years. I could go over all the things that this club's been involved in, but I just saw an email this morning when I was getting ready for this meeting. I'm up at 6 o'clock, I got to read through my emails. I see an email on a Roseville request that they had made 2 years ago to our club to get lights that were solar powered with a plug-in for cell phones. And in Africa, and we contributed $1,250 to that, which the club, that Roseville Club's contribution was $1,500. So we were the second largest club. There's about 6 or 7 clubs involved in this, which is typical for what happens with these things. But the end result of this is 225 families had these lights because they have no electricity. And they were able to have these lights, and then they could also power their cell phones, which is very critical for them. And that, it just kind of brought it to mind about what happened and how we touch people all over the world with what we do in the Paul Harris Foundation. So thank you, Mike. And then for Michael here, he is a Paul Harris Fellow. So I know this club is extremely generous, and over the years, I've seen so many people giving and continuing to give, and that's how things get done, and that's how real change happens in a positive way, and it's locally, it's nationally, it's around the world. So let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you. This morning, we do have our students of the month. And so I'm gonna have Michael come back up here again. You can just sit down for only 1 second and jump right back up.
Great, thank you, Mr. President. Well, am I?
Yep.
Okay. Thanks for coming this morning. I know a little on the chilly side, and we're gonna get some snow and then some rain, and then it's gonna be warm, and then it's gonna get really cold. It's kind of like being the mayor of Lakeville, right? Good pass, Doug. All right, it's my honor and pleasure this morning. We have our Student of the Month recognition, and we're going to start with Lakeville South. I just want to recognize, I did make sure that our 2 high school principals, Ms. Booty and Mr. Murphy, North and South respectively, that they got a breakfast, so they're feeling better. Because the rest of the day won't be fun, but that's the way it goes, right? But we also have 2 deans here from each of the high schools that I think this is both their first time, but I'm sure they'll do a good job. And we're going to start with Lakeville South this morning, and I'm going to introduce our newest dean, or one of our newer deans in Lakeville South, Mr. Nick Fox. Sir, you're up.
Morning. Like I was introduced, I'm new dean at Lakeville South, one of the new deans, Nick Fox. Thank you, Mr. Bauman. Thank you to all the Rotarians for having us here today. This is a really cool event, and I was kind of reflecting on it, and I'm pretty sure that I was a student in the Hastings Rotary Student of the Month. So I was thinking about that this morning. That like popped in my head. I'm like, I've done this, but from a totally different standpoint. So it's kind of full circle. I want to start by congratulating Tarika from North. That's pretty awesome. Congratulations for being here. I'm here to introduce our South student, who is Lillian Masindi. And I selected Lillian for 3 reasons: her academic achievements, her leadership qualities that she shows throughout our school, and her volunteering and advocacy work in our school. She is a phenomenal student. She is somebody who works a job many, many hours a week to support herself and sometimes her family and get ready for college and the expense that that's going to bring. In all of that work, she still has time to volunteer. She still has time to keep her over a 4.0 GPA. She's top 10% of her class, taking all of the hardest classes that we offer at South. So just a really unbelievably high achieving academic student. Her leadership qualities, she personifies leadership in our school. She's the captain of the cross country team. She runs track and field. She's part of NHS Key Club. She's a leader in our Student Voices group. And then she also finds time to volunteer at Open Arms Minnesota, Empower Hour, Feed My Starving Children. She's a fierce advocate in our school for marginalized students and students that kind of lack a voice. So she is a leader of our Student Voices group and has just started our first ever, to my knowledge, Black Student Union at Lakeville South, which I'm pretty proud of her for. She adds just so much positivity to our school culture. And you're going to find out that she's much more articulate than I am in a minute here. But she learns smart. She gets accepted to Carleton, which is super exciting. And I am just super pumped about the future of Lakeville, the future of our world when you have a student like Lillian coming up. So without further ado, Lillian, come on up here.
I'd just like to say thank you for having me here. So today I have a speech that I titled "The Essence of Becoming," and I'll just tell it to you now. One of the greatest human desires in life is to become, a desire so seemingly innate yet hard to come by. As we grow, we become a collective of things, channeled by the experiences, feelings, and people we encounter on this journey we call life. Although the present may be promising, a lot of the time, what we become is unsatisfactory and leads us to wanting more. The process of becoming can be arduous, stagnant, unfulfilling, but truly there is no specific way to become, as everyone has different goals and dreams in mind when tending to this desire. The chase is what makes becoming so enticing, and to me, the essence of becoming as a mindset rather than an end goal has made me approach my pursuits and life with more intentionality and less impatience. Intentionality and patience have presented themselves in my life in various ways, but have proved to be the most useful when pertaining to my journey as a student, an athlete, and a leader. A lot of the times as students, we are told by others what we should become and what to do to make said goal happen. We are advised to join certain clubs or sports, apply to certain schools, and even told to go into career fields we are not interested in simply to please others. As former First Lady Michelle Obama once stated in her book, Becoming, the most useless question an adult can ask a child is, what do you want to be when you grow up? As if growing up is finite, as if at some point you become something and that is the end. The process of becoming should not be influenced by the thoughts of others, but rather a continuous journey of learning how to be that never comes to an end. Although these pressures are prevalent, it is up to an individual to dismiss these wishes and take hold of their academic and life trajectory. Throughout my high school career, I have become a plethora of things. A cross-country captain, a track and field athlete, a straight-A student, a student voices leader, a Carleton liberal arts experience scholar, a member of National Honor Society, a volunteer, an advocate for social justice, and so much more. Although these are all aspects of my identity, myself and others deem significant, one commonality I've found within all my pursuits, within all I've become, is my desire to create my own narrative atypical of those in my family. Growing up, I didn't have many examples of what to be, but rather examples of what not to be. As an adolescent, I had to assume roles and responsibilities of those my age did not due to my parents' struggle with substance abuse and the lack of emotional intelligence they held in order to help me navigate the feelings that came with growing up early. Rather than letting my circumstances define me, I made it my goal to become someone my siblings could look up to and an example for other children in situations like me. Although I lacked the power to control the environment I was in, I began searching for things I could control the outcome of, and that was a future driven by education and personal inquiry. In my journey of becoming, I have learned, although it can be daunting, there is comfort in knowing that all your sacrifices will eventually reap the fruits of your labor. For example, navigating my dual enrollment courses, AP classes, and college application process with limited parental support were all necessary challenges I took on to ensure I was not only making the most of my education, but also ensuring that higher education was in my reach. This upcoming fall, I intend on pursuing a major on the pre-law track with a minor in Africana Studies at my institution of choice. Although I get my admissions decision tomorrow from my top choice school, Carleton College, I'm confident that in my season of becoming, the answer that awaits me will have purpose, whether in my favor or not. Lastly, I would like to thank Dean Fox for selecting me as February's Rotary Student of the Month and for the constant support he has provided me during his time at Lakeville South. Although we formally met at the start of this year, I can confidently say that Dean Fox is one of the most transparent and genuine adults I have met during my 4 years at Lakeville South. From helping me establish the Black Student Union Affinity Group, advocating for underrepresented students at his school, to simply making every student feel welcome, Dean Fox has left an important impression on our school and is a model for many and myself in the terms of how to become.
Well, thank you so much for those words can inspire not just the young, but those of us who still get to march on this journey, right? So thank you for that. So next we have Lakeville North, and again, one of our newer deans, and I'm going to introduce Miss Emily Robb.
I'm hoping I was just going to follow Nick. Good morning. My name again is Emily Robb, and I am the new dean serving at Lakeville North High School. I'm excited to introduce the second February Rotary Student of the Month student, Tarika Arundamar. She is joined today by her mom and a close friend. Tarika was one of the first students I met when starting at North this summer. We met to talk about her upcoming plans and academic and career aspirations. I listened as Tarika spoke passionately about her numerous volunteer experiences. As she spoke, she talked in detail about how each experience has helped her to make who she is today and who she strives to be. It was clear that this work was not some checklist or an item to add to a resume, but work she truly puts her heart into. Tarika also spoke with joy about her leadership roles within our school. Her role as a mentor in speech, secretary with HOSA, and out in the community as a gymnastics coach. Among many others, I'm sure she'll share with you. While speaking with Tarika, I took a look at her transcript and GPA. It was clear that I was sitting with an exceptional young woman. It was very well-rounded, excelling in so many areas. Tarika is also an advocate, advocating for members of the community, students in our building, and herself. It is a pleasure and an honor to be able to spend the senior year with her, and even more so to introduce her to all of you here today, Ms. Tarika Arunamar. I guess I'm a little shorter. Well, first off, thank you guys for having me here today. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. And so, as Ms. Rob mentioned, my name is Tarika. I'm a senior at Lakeville North High School. And throughout the last 4 years, I've been lucky enough to place a lot of emphasis on service within the community. I really began volunteering as a freshman when I applied to volunteer at M Health Fair Regis Hospital in Burnsville, Minnesota. And they had an interview process, and at this interview, I was asked, like, why do you want to volunteer here? And I gave a really blanket answer that I just want to help people. But I didn't know the extent to which that would become true over my 4 years in high school. And now having over 300 hours volunteering at the hospital, I can confidently say that those hours are what sparked my interest in further volunteerism and a career in the medical field. Whether it was discharging a patient and telling them it's their time to finally go home, or directing a new father to the room where his wife and new child are, the smiles I've seen at the hospital introduced me to the instant gratification that comes from community service. And so even though I started volunteering at the hospital, I've been able to expand that through many other opportunities. Specifically through the COVID-19 pandemic, something I've taken a lot of joy in is volunteering at some food shelves, such as the Open Door and the Rosemount food shelf. And as the COVID-19 pandemic continued to get worse, we saw an increase in food insecurity in our community. And so whether it was just packing meals or simply stocking groceries on shelves, it felt great to be making an impact towards an issue that was becoming more and more prevalent in our community. And then I've been able to further my involvement with community service through the National Honor Society. I have been lucky enough to serve as North's chapter's president. And so this has allowed me to organize volunteer events for our chapters, such as group outings to feed my starving children, a toy drive during Christmas time, and currently we're working on setting up tie blankets where members can make tie blankets for the Children's Hospital. And so being an NHS officer allowed me to just essentially expand my scope of the impact I can make by allowing others to get volunteer opportunities as well. And aside from NHS, I've been involved in other things at North as well. And something that I've been very involved in and invested in is being a member of Lakeville North's speech team. And I joined in sophomore year, and it was very out of my comfort zone. Public speaking was something that seemed really daunting to me. But joining speech has been one of the most amazing experiences of my life. I can confidently say it allowed me to learn how to effectively communicate and actively listen to other people's passions and the things that they want to talk about every morning early on Saturdays. And so learning aside, speech has given me so much, like a support system with the coaches and friends I've made. And so something I've been really passionate about is allowing other people to experience that. So the last 2 years, I've been a mentor on the speech team, which means I help a new member acclimate to the culture and competition. And I've been lucky enough to be chosen as one of the captains for this year. And so that means I got to do a lot of recruiting, trying to grow our team in the fall. And I got to help everyone on the team. And I really enjoy the successes of everyone this season. And even though we just started in January, I've been lucky enough to become so much closer to so many more people, and it's really shown me why I joined in the first place. Additionally, I am an officer of North's chapter of HOSA Future Health Professionals, which helps to introduce students into healthcare. And my role allows me to connect our chapter with guest speakers, which has not only allowed me to help educate our entire student population that is in HOSA, but it's allowed me to make connections with many other healthcare workers, which is really important to me because that's the field I want to go into. And so aside from involvement at North, I've also been working since I was a freshman as a coach at Community Ed in Lakeville, coaching gymnastics. And I did gymnastics for about 10 years and competed for about 5. But when I decided it was time to stop competing and look for a job, I was really glad to end up at community ed coaching. And working with little kids has taught me a lot. It's taught me patience, and it's allowed me to continue my involvement with gymnastics, even if that meant taking my passion for it and putting it into a different way. And so that was a little bit of a lesson about keeping the things you love close into your life, even if it means including it in an alternate way. And so with all of the experiences I've gained over high school, whether it was my interest in leadership or community service, as I move forward, I have the aim of going to medical school. I have even had the opportunity to become a certified nursing assistant. I've attended multiple medical programs, including our career immersion program at Mayo Clinic, and I help as a lab aide. And so all of that has just furthered my interest into the medical field. And even though I don't quite know what college I'll be at yet, I'm planning on majoring in a field related to biology with the goal of going to med school down the line. And then really quick, I just want to thank my dean, Ms. Robb. She's been so helpful when it comes to navigating my future career and helpful for being a voice for the entire population up north. And I know it's her first year here, but the changes she's already made and the way I felt supported just by knowing she's in the building has been incredible. So thank you. And thank you all for taking the time today.
Thank you for all your work and all the taking advantage of all the programs that we do have at Lakeville area schools, which are open to all of our students. So you've done an exceptional job with that. And again, both our students of the month, thank you for your words. We appreciate it tremendously. I do have one other thing for you. So if you two would come up, please. So why don't you turn around and face the group here? There you go. So Tarika, this is a token of our appreciation from Lakeville Rotary Club, and it is to recognize you as Student of the Month, and you can share that and put that somewhere nice and prominent. You both probably have home offices, right? Well, if you don't, you might in the future, who knows, right? And this is also a challenge coin. It has the 4-way test, and we're going to say it. So let's all say the 4-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? So that's on here, and those are foundational words to probably live by. I would recommend, and again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. And let's give the deans and the principals a round of applause. It's an outstanding job. Molly and Teresa, thank you so much for your inspirational speeches this morning. You have no idea how seeing 2 young women as leaders and how inspirational that is to everyone in this room. So thank you so much for taking the time this morning and sharing with us. You may go now. You don't have to stay for the rest of our meeting. So it's all right to get up and leave. Thank you very much. And we'll give them a minute. Move out. I think Peg is our master at arms this morning. Work her way up here. As Student of the Month, it continues to be one of the favorite weekly or monthly events that we have during the school year. And it's so great to hear these young students talk about their journey.
Good morning, everyone. Today, we're going to have a journey through the Rotary grants. First of all, though, I want to talk about the foundation, and then I want to talk about what on both February and March are share the love. Share the love. And Share the Love is a program that District 596 was put on to enhance or further raise money for the foundation. This month there is different. If you give both in February and March, you are you have to get a minimum of $50. But there are different levels that you can go through. There's all sorts of different kudos and stuff that you can get. But most of all, you are able to buy different
Rotary merch.
thank you very much. You want to talk?
No.
I And they did, it was supposed to be just March, not, or February, and now it's March. You get together. Yeah. So anyhow, what? Let me just start collecting. Okay, huh? There, now you can hear me? Good. Thank you. Wait. Can anybody tell me what the main purpose of the foundation is? Well, let's start off with that as a question. You be quiet.
Raise money. What's your question?
Raise money for what?
For all the programs and do good in the world.
Okay, name one program.
That we've supported.
No,
When
that the foundation does.
What program?
Clean water.
Okay, we're just gonna keep on you. Name another one.
Polio Plus.
Yes, you guys are too good. You've been reading. And what else does it do? What is clean water? What does that mean?
Wells and sanitation.
What else does it mean?
Pay the bucket.
Oh, that reminds me. Who put more, okay, or infantry with a 20 or above? Be honest. Did you put your dollar in?
I put 5.
5, are we doing that? Okay, well, you're excused. Anybody else? I was told that there were quite a few people that paid with 20s. Okay, you only know. Anybody else? Anybody, you know who they are?
There was some gentleman that came in this morning and took.
I already passed up.
We're gonna go on to the Rotary Foundation. In 2019, the Rotary Foundation provided how many million in grants or whatever through the world?
1 million.
Is that your answer?
Yep.
Okay, 10. It's 86 million.
Oh, Kevin was at the door. Did we believe
Sorry.
There are 6 prerequisites for starting a grant. You want to name 2 of them?
We're all in this, I'm sorry.
This table and yes, well, for starting a grant, there's 6 prerequisites, name 2. Well,